Battlefield 6's Battle Royale just launched this week, and you're probably wondering, is Battlefield 6 REDSEC actually worth your time? And is it a proper Battlefield experience or just another failed Battle Royale? Don't waste your precious gaming hours finding out the hard way. I'm going to give you my definite review of this Battle Royale right now so you can decide if it's a must play or a must skip. But first, my name is LeBrankson. Thanks for stopping by watching today's video. I make a lot of Battlefield 6 content and a lot of Call of Duty content, giving you guys the best of both worlds. So thanks for stopping by. So like I said, in today's video, we're going to go over the pros, the cons, and everything in between for Battlefield 6 REDSEC. First off, the game is a breath of fresh air and sort of a mix of all the current Battle Royales. Right from the beginning, I think this game has great potential if they stay on top of the updates in terms of bugs and map updates. I think the map overall is pretty solid. I haven't really found a POI that I dread going to compared to other Battle Royales. In Warzone, I used to hate going near towers, train stations, and airport. In REDSEC, I haven't really found those areas yet. Maybe in a few more days when I end up playing a little bit more, I'll end up hating certain POIs more than others. But for now, the map is actually very enjoyable. I think it's a solid size, but I do wish there were slightly more players than the 100 people on the map. I think we go by a lot more smoother, a lot more gunplay action in the game. But for right now, I think it's pretty fine. And I do have a little bit more to say about the map aspect, but I'll save that more for the cons portion of today's video. Next up, the gameplay and gunfights are actually probably one of the best I felt in a while for a Battle Royale. The gunplay mechanics feel just like how they do in multiplayer, which keeps it pretty grounded to its Battlefield roots. I also really enjoy choosing your specific classes, and each of them have their own specific roles. Similarly to how it is in multiplayer, is also another great function as well. It makes you want to be a little bit more strategic with your squad mates on what roles you all want to play as. If you want those special safes unlocked, well, then you need the engineer tool and someone to be running engineer. If you want to be a better sniper, you probably want to choose a recon class. Each class gives you more specialties in regards to that weapon. So if I choose an assault class, you're going to be better with the assault rifles. If you choose the recon class, you're definitely going to be better with snipers. For example, when I chose the assault class earlier when I first started playing and I picked up a sniper halfway through, I felt like I was missing a lot of shots. And granted, I am not the best sniper. Let me put that right here, right now on LeBrankson Gaming. But I will say when I chose a recon class and picked up a sniper, I felt like I was making my shots a little bit more accurate, hitting some shots that I probably should have when I was on the assault class. So I don't know if I'm a little bit delusional or what, but that's just LeBrankson's 2 cents, and we're going to leave it right here on the channel. Overall, I feel like the classes are really, really cool, actually. I think it's a great aspect for the Battle Royale to make it stick out a little bit different compared to all the other classes without giving it a specialist or like an Apex with their different power-ups or whatever you want to call it. I barely even played Apex. It gives a little bit more variety as each character goes on. Now, one of my worries for this game when I first saw the trailer and the early gameplay that was released was the use of different vehicles like the Humvee and the helicopter have turrets on the back of them, and obviously the tank. So I was a little nervous about them at first in terms of them being a little bit overpowered, but when me and my buddies first got the mission or the contract, whatever you want to call them, to get the tank, I was actually a little excited to get the tank. You know, I got that tank key card, I put it in the little trailer, whatever it was, it started making those loud noises, those beeps, the tank starts rolling out, you get your specific little camo on the tank. It was actually a lot of fun. And then I was a turret and my buddy was driving, so I ended up wasting all my ammo before I even saw anyone. And honestly, didn't realize that you had a limited amount of ammo before you had to hit a vehicle refuel station. I was complaining to my buddy. I was like, dude, when is ammo going to come back? And he was like, don't worry, it'll come back. And then like 2 minutes later, I was like, yeah, bro, I don't think it's coming back. And I was like, go hit that the refuel station real quick and see if it gives me any more ammo. And sure enough, it does. So it gives you enough ammo to take out another tank or take out a chopper or kill a couple people. But it's not super overpowered in terms of unlimited ammo in just like it is in multiplayer. So it actually really helps prevent squads from just going around riding in a tank forever for the whole entire game and blowing people up left and right. It's also honestly pretty sick if you're going up against a tank and it comes around the corner and just blows up your building that you're hiding in. So it makes it a little bit more fun moments for you and your friends, and just honestly just a whole better environment for the game in general. On the other hand, if you're going up against a tank, it feels like there are honestly plenty of anti-vehicle boxes that drop from the sky or wherever they drop from, and also a lot of good equipment that you can get from the loot boxes, or I think the police cars or the ambulances too, that will help you take out the vehicles. And honestly, the vehicles don't really have super high health, so they aren't completely invincible. Another really fun thing that I've really enjoyed is the fire zone. I actually didn't notice this until I heard this in a video earlier today, but as soon as the storm starts closing in, it doesn't stop. In other battle royales, the circle will close for a certain amount of time, take a small little snack break, and then start closing back in to go to the next section of the circle. In REDSEC, that firestorm keeps closing in for the whole entirety of the game, which makes sense because I kept looking at the top left or the top right of my screen. I was like, man, when do I know when this circle is closing in? Because there was no timer coming off. But it actually makes it a little bit more fun in terms of it becomes a slightly faster game, rather than people camping in the final circle of the building for the entirety of the game because I already know what the final circle is going to be at. I also really enjoy that if you don't move fast enough and you hit the fire for even 1 second, you automatically die to the storm. So many times in Apex, Warzone, or in Fortnite, people would just camp in the storm, pick people off left and right, or in Warzone, they would do that stupid stim glitch with the ammo boxes and basically cheat out a win. This new mechanic forces you to stay inside the zone and actually play the game as it should be played. It even gives you a little warning if you get too close to the zone, saying something like the zone is X meters away, and if you get pretty close to it, some fire will actually start burning your character, which allows an even better movie-like experience that Battlefield has actually done really well with so far this year in the Battle Royale and especially the multiplayer. Alright, now on to the cons. My biggest complaint has to be the audio. I think the audio needs a whole revamp. It's hard to hear enemy footsteps, some of the effects are too loud, and it's hard to hear where everything is coming from. For example, I had the War Tapes audio setting on, and I was in a fight near the edge of the zone. I couldn't hear where the enemy footsteps were and where they were at because all I heard was a fire burning right in both my eardrums. Even when I was in a normal situation, like in a different POI or downtown in the cities, something away from the edge of the fire or any vehicles, it was still very difficult to hear enemy footsteps. I didn't know where they were coming from. My buddies heard them. We couldn't figure out where they were coming from either. Sometimes we would just hear our own footsteps and kind of get stuck in this loop of endless audio. I did eventually switch away from the War Tape audio setting, and it slightly helped limited the environmental sound effects and also slightly increased enemy footstep audio, but honestly it's still very hard to separate your teammates footsteps to enemy footsteps unless you're actually really paying attention. I think the visibility is a slight issue as well. Sometimes it's really difficult to notice people in this game, and oftentimes I'll be running straight ahead and accidentally run up behind a whole squad that I didn't even see and get stuck in a predicament that I could have easily avoided if I saw them. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes that's my fault, but also sometimes people just run right in front of me and they don't see me and I don't see them, so it must be a mutual feeling. If people are hiding in a bush or a dark area, you can forget even seeing them. If you're in a gunfight near the ring of fire and you're shooting towards the fire, it's also very hard to see the enemies due to that fire. Like I was talking about in the situation of the audio portion, I was in that fight near the ring of fire. They were on the edge closest to the fire where I was looking back trying to shoot them on one of the hilltops. My buddy was like, they're right there. I couldn't see them, he couldn't see them, and we ended up dying right then and there because the fire basically, I don't know, extinguished our eyeballs or something, but they were stuck with all the smoke. We couldn't see them and we eventually died. So hopefully that's just another issue that they can fix, just like they fixed the lighting issue when you were inside of a building. If you looked out the window and it was super bright, hopefully it's something as small as that they can fix, but we'll see. Again, it's not the end of the world in terms of the fire, but just running around and not being able to see people super well can be an issue in these battle royale. The UI and looting also feels a little clunky, and some of the gameplay mechanics aren't super user friendly. When I'm opening a loot box, it just feels like there's so much going on. Not only does it show what weapon is in the box, but it also shows what weapon you're carrying currently on the screen as well. And on top of that, it shows the other equipment or anything else nearby. So it just clutters up your whole screen, and as someone who's dyslexic and just can't really focus when there's so much going on the screen, sometimes I just drop my gun that I have on accident. I don't even notice it until I'm already halfway across the map and I'm so far away from the area, and then I look down and I got 2 green submachine guns that I shouldn't even be having. Even picking up loot from boxes or dead bodies feels a little clunky, just in terms of just like holding down X or square, whatever you use, or whatever you use on PC feels a little weird. Sometimes on the dead bodies, loot can just scatter everywhere, so it's kind of hard to find what exactly you want. Also, the equipping of the armor plates feels a little weird to me. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to Warzone where they equip a little bit faster, or it's just a little bit slower. I don't know. It just feels a little weird. Or maybe there's a setting where, like in Call of Duty, where you can just do tap to apply all that I need to go in and put on there. I don't know. It feels a little weird. I know a lot of other people are complaining about it too, but that's really the only thing I really have to talk about for the armor plates. Also, when I picked up the little assault rifle upgrade or recon or sniper rifle upgrade, it took me forever to figure it out on how to upgrade my weapons, because I picked them up and it showed a little hint on one of the sides of the game saying like, hey, if you open up your inventory, you can upgrade it. So every time I hit the inventory button, it opened up my map. I'm using a PS5 controller on my PC right now. So I hit the little DualSense pad, whatever it's called, and it pull up my map. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Until I realized I had to hold it down to get to my inventory. And then eventually I still didn't know how to use it until I saw the little upgrade arrows on my assault rifle or my sniper, and I held down onto it. But then once you use it, it's actually really cool. I actually really like that feature because you can choose what you want, whether it's range or recoil or ammo, whatever it is. But just getting there is just a pain in the butt to get to. Another thing that I also was so annoyed with this past week is just the pinging system. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There were so many times I was passenger in the tank or a vehicle, and I was trying to ping enemies to my buddy because he couldn't see them, and nothing would pop up. So eventually I just gave up. And then even if I'm in the middle of a gunfight, sometimes I would ping and it would just hit the vehicle refuel station or the little loadout drop or somewhere, basically anything else other than what I wanted to ping. So I think if they fix that, which one they're going to have to fix that. I don't think Battlefield is really known for this pinging in the first place. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played Battlefield, but if they fix that, I think it'll be a lot easier for this game as well. I'm going to throw this in the cons too, even though I haven't really tried it out yet myself, but I saw this on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But it seems like there's a lot of controller settings and stuff that you need to switch to make the controllers feel better. I'm not sure if that's just the Call of Duty people trying to replicate it to make it feel like Call of Duty or Warzone, since that's what people basically did for Battlefield 6 multiplayer. But it shouldn't take all those edits to controller settings to make the game feel better. Or maybe I should just suck it up and move back to mouse and keyboard and enjoy the game, as I have heard that this game is super enjoyable on mouse and keyboard. And lastly, my in-between section. This section is a quick section that I don't really label a pro or con because I don't think it's really benefiting or bringing down the game. It's basically stuff that I don't superly overly love or I super overly hate, if that's even a word. Basically, you can get rid of it right now. I wouldn't really care. So some people have been complaining about the movement, saying that it feels slow, comparing it to Warzone 2.0. But if anything, this is what Warzone 2.0 should have been like, and this is light years ahead of Warzone 2.0. I'm personally fine with the speed of the movement. It's a Battlefield game, so you're going to get Battlefield movement. Half the time when I see people complaining about the movement on here, honestly, most of the Battlefield 6 complaints are from Call of Duty people because they aren't used to Call of Duty and they haven't played a Battlefield game because 2042 wasn't that great. So when you get people playing Battlefield and they haven't been playing Battlefield since Bad Company, of course you're going to get complaints about the movement because this is how Battlefield is. But you know what? I'm going on a tangent. I'm fine with the speed of movement. I don't think it'll be sped up or slowed down. I think it's right in between. I think it's in a good spot. Also, custom loadouts are in between for me. They aren't super annoying as Warzone loadouts with perks and everything, but I do honestly think that this game would be a lot more fun overall with ground loot and upgrading them with the upgrade packs to the game rather than custom weapons being available. I think it would be just like how Blackout used to be, but not as in depth to where you got to figure out like, okay, here's a 2x scope. Oh, was that a 4x scope back there? Like, not as annoying as that, but if you had more upgrade packs around to where you can make a common weapon up to a gold or whatever the highest tier is for Battlefield, I think that would play a lot more better. As of right now, the custom loadouts aren't super overpowered, so I'm fine with them being in there. I'm fine with camping those out. Just kidding, I don't camp that out. I'm not a loser. I do think it would be better if it was just ground loot with upgrade packs. Now, giving my overall review of this game, if you had to come up to me and say, Yola Brankston, do you recommend playing REDSEC? Are you having a lot of fun? I would say, yeah, it's a very solid battle royale. It's way better than the first battle royale that Battlefield came out with a couple years ago. It's a very fun game. I have a lot of fun. You know, right now you only have duos and quads, which, you know, I get it for testing purposes, whatever, but I still think they should at least release solos with it, but I get it. It's fine. Overall, there's a lot more pros and cons. Honestly, a lot of the cons outside of the audio and visibility is a little bit nitpicky. I think the UI and everything will get a little bit better as the year goes on. My only worry for this is, will this game survive in terms of population with Arc Raiders coming out, Black Ops 7 coming out, and then just dealing with Battlefield 6 multiplayer? I know a lot of people love the open alpha or open beta, whatever it was a couple weeks ago with Arc Raiders. I know a lot of players are going to be switching over to that, and with all the changes that Battlefield has made Call of Duty change to, yes, I said that Battlefield has forced Call of Duty's hand to make those key changes. I think a lot of players are going to go back to Call of Duty, and also I think a lot of players are going to stick with the Battlefield 6 multiplayer. I know a lot of my friends are like, man, I can't really get into this battle royale for Battlefield 6. I want to go back and just endlessly keep playing Conquest, keep driving vehicles around, keep getting in action, get my 30-40 kills, and then kind of go into a different map or switch to escalation. So I think that's going to be a big problem with this battle royale too. But I do think with having that other company or group or developers, whatever you want to call them, working on just REDSEC rather than REDSEC and multiplayer, multiplayer, I think you're going to be in a better off scenario than how Warzone is. And again, not going to compare to Warzone because one, I think Warzone shot themselves in the foot, like I said, and they're scrambling to kind of figure out if they're going to keep it alive or not with Blackout getting pushed up early. Let me know what you guys have thought about REDSEC over the last couple days. If you like it, if you love it, do you agree with my pros and cons? Do you have other pros and cons that I have missed that you want to add in? Just leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. But it's been your boy LeBrinkston. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to go follow all the social medias down in the link below. Go join the LeBrinkston official Discord. Link is in the description. So I'm going to need a lot of teammates coming up with Battlefield 6, with REDSEC, with Black Ops 7, maybe even a little Arc Raiders. Who knows? But it's been your boy LeBrinkston. If you liked today's video, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.